evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mihir Joshi, and welcome once again to the MJ Show. I have three fantastic guests for you tonight as well. At 9 p.m., you're going to get to meet Ananya Birla, and after that, I have a brilliant comedian illusionist who's going to be joining me. His name is Quarancharity. You're going to get to see his magic in a little while. But right now, I have somebody who's been on YouTube for a really long time. She's an amazing YouTuber. I know she's got hundreds and thousands of fans. You guys have been following her for a very long time. I actually think I met her at the very first fan fest, but I'm going to check with her. I have a feeling I may be wrong about that because I don't remember shit. But let me tell you a little bit about her. She has been a model in the past, but once she got hooked onto YouTube, she's never looked back. And she's not just got one channel, she's got three fantastic channels on YouTube. So let's find out about all of that in just a little while. Okay. Welcome on the MJ Show, the lovely Scherezade Shroff. And I'm waiting for her to join in. And there she is. Hi, Sherry. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. I just realized that there's so much to talk about. I was looking at all of your channels today. And firstly, I want to congratulate you on this huge journey that you've been on. I know it's almost 7 years that you've been putting, actually a little more than 7 years, because before your channel began, you were still doing content on YouTube. So it's been a fantastic long journey, and you've got your hardcore fans. What are your fans called? I remember at that fan
They call themselves the Shroffers.
The Shroffers. So let's see if we get some Shroffers joining us right now. By the way, all of you who are watching us right now, if you have any questions for her or any comments, you can put them down here and we'll try to look at them whenever we can. But now, Sherry, let's start with your journey. And as I always do when someone comes on the show for the first time, I want to get their origin story. How did you get to be on the path that you're on? Evidently, like I said in the introduction, YouTube wasn't the first thing that you did. So tell me a little bit about what you did before YouTube and how did YouTube happen to you?
So, I mean, modeling was something that was always on the cards for me. Ever since I was a little girl, I knew I wanted to model, and I told my parents that I was like, I'm going to model. So at 16, my braces came off, and I was like, I want a portfolio now. Shot my portfolio, signed on with an agency, and it just went from there. And I kind of modeled for about a good decade before I got into YouTube, I'd say. So, I mean, with modeling, I'd done everything there was to do, like shows, TV commercials, print, magazines. So it was kind of like in that phase of being done for me. I never really wanted to do Bollywood. It was not something that, like that, at that point, everyone who modeled went into Bollywood. That was the next step. I did do a film that never came out, thankfully. With my managers pressured me into doing this film, which I don't even remember I don't even think it was named, but yeah, I shot like 10 days for it and then it never came out. So thankfully that never happened, or maybe I wouldn't have been here today. And that was a learning experience where I was like, this is not what I want to do. It's not me. And with modeling, I kept thinking there's something else. I know I'm going to do something beyond this because there's a shelf life with modeling. And I was very realistic about that because I started really young. And so I went like a model through like college. Then I joined law school because I really wanted to do law always. So I finished law school. I was still modeling and waiting for like the next big thing to come up in my life. And I went through a period obviously of questioning myself and wondering, what can I do, because I've only modeled so far for so long. And I also realized that law was not really my thing. Like I was like, I don't think I'd survive in a firm where I do like a, 9 to 1 a.m. job, because that's not.
Yeah, because it's not 9 to 5.
No, it's not 9 to 5 for sure. And like, people say, do you regret it? And I'm like, no, because I do all my own contracts now. And like some of my best friends are from law school. So I feel like I love the experience of it, but I didn't think that I would become a practicing lawyer unless I really had to. So there was always this question as I was modeling as to what can I do next. And while I was still modeling, I had a network approach me. At that point, YouTube in India was pretty much dead. Was just catering to American audiences and things like that. And they said, we have this fashion channel and, you seem to know stuff. You're a model. I also had a text blog at that time because blogging was the it thing. So I used to write blog posts, even though I was terrible at writing. And they were like, you blog and you're a model, so like camera angles and stuff. Why don't you try video blogging? And I was like, I don't even know what that is. I've never watched YouTube videos, but let me give it a shot. So we did like a test shoot for a day. And I was like, oh, this is just like a video catalog, basically what we do in print, where you change, a lot of outfits and talk about it. And I was like, I can totally do this. And I said, let's do it and, take it from there. And I started working with them on that channel. And initially, of course, it was just like any other modeling job for me, where I was like, okay, I'm going to go. They'd give me a brief as to today you're shooting these videos and stuff. And as I got into it, I was like, I went to the CEO and I said, this is not really me, because a lot of times you're telling me to do stuff that is not my strength, like makeup and things like that. Why don't I kind of like structure the video and I make it my own thing? And he was like, sure, but you're not getting paid more. And I was like, that's fine. I just wanted to be more me than, yeah. And at that point, I didn't really realize what I was creating, but I was just like, yeah, I just wanted to be more of a reflection of who I am, because my face is in the video and people see that. And he was like, sure, whatever, and for about 8-9 months, I kind of did that. I got really into like the whole process and, deciding what I want to do for the videos. And then I was just like, wait, this is not my channel. It's never going to be my channel. And it was a really tough decision, because I think we had grown that channel from all of 2,000-3,000 subscribers to about 15,000-20,000 at that point, which was a big number then.
Big
and we
deal,
were like,
yeah,
oh my
yeah,
God, in 8 months, it's grown so much. And if I leave now, this is my baby, my channel. And everybody was like, it's not yours, and it'll never be yours. So leave and start your own. And yeah, I did this test. I went for a friend's, like a relative's wedding to Rajasthan, and I was in a hotel room by myself with my laptop. And I said, okay, I'm going to do a test. I'm going to try shooting a get ready with me video. And if I can manage this with just my webcam and I can edit this video, I'm going to leave and start my own channel. And that happened, and then that was the first video for the channel. And I said, that's how
So the
my
first
channel
video on your
started.
channel was actually done on a webcam?
Yeah, for a very long time. I shot like for a few months on my webcam, and then I took a loan and bought a camera, which is still the same camera that I used 7 years down the line.
What are you using?
And the Canon G 700D, and I have a G7X for my vlogs, but the 700D is what I bought then. And it's still lasting me for most of my content. So yeah, it was something that happened in my life. I always say I'm very grateful that YouTube happened to me, because it's not something like today. I have a lot of kids coming to me and saying, I want to be a YouTuber. How do I do this? And that was not me. I didn't really know about YouTube or YouTube videos until like the network approached me. And yeah, and I mean, I learned a lot when I worked with them, and that's kind of how I started, when nobody was even doing YouTube at that time. So even when I started my own channel, it was more of a joke, where people were like, okay, do you even make money, or how does this work? And I was like, not for a while, but let's see where it goes. And yeah, my parents used to say she works on the internet. I was like, that sounds really shady, but like, okay, thanks. So yeah, it was a learning experience, but I think it was a different time. Like now today, when I see how content has evolved, it's definitely a different space. And a lot of people have professional teams and things like that, which we didn't have when we started out. Obviously, it was a very DIY, you yourself and your tripod kind of situation. And yeah, so it was a learning experience, and yeah, I think I've grown through it.
That's really cool. I just realized when you were talking that there are a few parallels, because about 17 years ago, I did my engineering. I'm an electronics engineer. So there's an engineer and a lawyer sitting over here who've got nothing to do with engineering or lawyering. But, I think education in whatever form you do does help you even in content creation, because it just gives you a better perspective of thinking, of having, a routine, a structure to the way you do things. And the other thing I realized, which we had in common, is before I started the YouTube vlog, which was also about 7 years ago, 1st August this will complete 7 years, I used to have a text blog, and I used to do radio before that. So what I did is, after I left radio for a year, I actually constructed my radio shows, but on a text blog. And when I would have played songs on radio, I put up YouTube links. So whatever I would have taught, I typed it out. And the song,
put the links.
I gave the YouTube link. And I did 100 episodes of that. Like a little more than 100. And the 100th episode was the first time I shot it on camera, which was not officially in Canon. I don't call it as my episode, but that was Luke Kenny came to my house, and we sat and shot it for 8 hours, because what we did is we went to the first 99 episodes, He picked one favorite song, I picked one favorite song. And it was completely DIY, like you said. A friend of mine came,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
we had food in the middle, then he went home, he edited it, and that was such an incredible experience. That was fantastic. But cut to 3 years later, then like you said, you found a network, I found a network, and they worked with me. And but yeah, so but I love the fact that we were both of us were in YouTube when YouTube wasn't like the big thing
Yeah.
that it is now. So that said, how have you seen your own channels grow and change from what you were doing 7 years ago to what you're doing right now? What is the difference in terms of what Sherry did 7 years ago to today?
So I think, I mean, I'm a lot more confident with trying new stuff now. Like when I started out, it was pretty much beauty and fashion, and I used to stick to those genres a lot. And then I started vlogging, and I realized, oh my God, there's this whole new way of storytelling where you can actually do nothing, but it's still something. And then as I started with vlogging, I started, different newer videos. And that's something that definitely evolved over time. And I kind of realized that my channel is a reflection of who I am. So if I'm feeling something at a point in time in my life, it may not be beauty or fashion, but I should be able to share that. And that's
Correct.
kind of where the understanding for other content came around, where I started doing vlogs, I started doing um, a lot more intimate stuff. Like when I had TB, I actually shared my whole TB journey with people because I felt like could help so many people because I didn't have that information. So I think those are things that I would have never thought. Like today's video tonight, I'm gonna have a video going live, which is me cooking Parsi food for the first time, which I would have never done a cooking video because I can't cook and I've never cooked. But I mean, like if you asked me 8 years ago, would you do a cooking video? I'd be like, there's no chance in hell. But like today, it's still something I think is fun and I think I'd do it because it's interesting. So I think like that kind of evolution has happened obviously because I've been on the platform for a really long time and it's kind of become like a part of who I am and an extension of me. So it's kind of grows into like whatever I'm experiencing in my life. And
Yeah.
obviously as since you've been at it for a while, as people we evolve as well. And as we evolve, we want to share more of that with our audience as opposed to just sticking to being like one type of person, because I believe that we all have like a zillion sides to us. And
Correct.
so I feel like the more real, the more raw the content, I really thoroughly enjoy watching that kind of content as opposed to like really well polished packaged content, because I feel like we have that on TV anyways. So the reason YouTube kind of was set apart and was different and was exciting was because it had like this whole raw real angle. So that's something I've stuck to, but I've kind of diversified the content to like multiple genres.
So, in fact, one of your fans right now just said her name is Nom 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 Nom. Wait, I think I gave you an extra nom. So, Nom 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 said that Sherry has diversified content, unlike a lot of YouTubers, which is true. And Nails with Prachi asked, are you going to ever make a music video? Would love to hear you
Wow, I
singing.
think
And
I think
yeah,
that's
so
a hard pass because I really cannot sing. So that diversity, I think I will hold back on. But I mean, honestly, a few years ago, I did think of it when like I had a singer who wanted to collaborate with me. I won't name them, but they said we want to do something with you, and they were like, "Why don't you style our music video?" And so I did think it would be fun to do like a talent swap where I give them fashion advice and they give me like a singing tutorial because I really can't sing. But so yeah, I never know, that might happen, but I don't think I'm going to be a singer for sure. I don't have any such aspirations and I'm well aware that that's not one of my strengths. So it might be a comedy video but yeah, of me singing.
no, it could also be you going back to your roots, which is modeling, where, like a lot of
Yeah.
TikTokers
So
are doing right now.
I did a lot of music videos as a model. So I mean, I guess I have done a music video already.
Exactly. So, you don't need to be singing, but you're still a part of a music video.
Yeah,
Like right now, I think Aves Darbar, Adil Khan, a whole bunch of these guys who are really,
right.
really good in their own way, in their own
Yeah,
content, whether it's talk or whatever, they're acting in music videos for
right.
singers. I think That
So
collab.
I don't think I have any issue with that. I'd love to do that. I mean, I've done many of those, and those are fun. I love to dance and like pretend to sing, but I'm not a singer. But yeah, I wouldn't mind even doing like like as I said, like this talent swap was something I thought of because I thought it would be really funny because I was just like, I think I can't sing, but what if I do really turn out to be a good singer? And they were like, no, you can't sing. Like,
So Prachi says Mars can be the singer. Mars is your
oh yeah,
dog, right?
my dog.
Do you know,
Yeah,
by
I
the way,
mean,
Prachi, there's a song of Pink Floyd in which David Gilmour actually gets his dog to sing. It's
no
on an
way,
album
really?
where there's a dog howling in the background and they
Oh
actually put a mic
wow.
in front of his mouth. And that's actually a part of a song. So who knows? Sherry might just make a song with Mars and he might be
I mean,
the
I think he's a
singer
bit
of a song.
unruly and a bit and no such discipline of singing in any sort. But never say never. I mean, you never know.
And let's take one more fan question. Gauri just said
Sure.
that she loves how authentic you and your content is. And what's the one thing that keeps you motivated during the quarantine?
I mean, I don't know about motivated, but one thing that keeps me sane is definitely Mars. I mean, we like play a lot and we goof around a lot, and we're constantly fighting like we're siblings because he's like a 1 year old puppy, and I have the IQ of a 1 year old puppy clearly, where I'm just like, stop it, no, and we're back to like being friends, and we have this love-hate relationship, and. I realized actually, like I'm someone who's had like dogs my whole life. Like my dad was a major dog lover, so I was born into a house with dogs. Like I feel like this, the only time we had like was maybe a couple of years in between when we didn't have dogs when they died, and we were like, okay, no more now, enough. It's too much work. Da, da, da. And then it never happened because we'd end up going and getting another one eventually. But this time I think we had a hard pass on getting a dog because my parents are pretty old. Like my dad's 75, my mom's 72, and as much as we all love dogs, I was like, I don't live here anymore, like permanently, and you guys are old, and it's a lot of work and a lot of responsibility. And we were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But then when I got married, I realized they're really lonely and they need another child. So I was like, guys, I think maybe you're ready for another dog. So am I. So let's get one. And we adopted Mars last year. And I just realized that it's an unconditional joy that they bring to your life, which we forget about. Like we don't realize when we don't have a pet, we think, oh, yeah, it's a lot of work and all of that. But when you have one, you're just like, oh, it's totally worth it. Like I don't know how I would have survived this lockdown if it wasn't for him. Like because he's kept me happy and sane through it all. In terms of motivation, I would say we started Quarancharity, me and a friend of mine, Pre Ramani, which we've raised over 30 lakh rupees for animals and daily wages through 4 charities. And it's been incredible. So I just got off 2 sessions from there this evening. So we've been doing sessions literally every evening where people are coming in and, sharing their craft or talking about their stories. And we've had people donate to kind of sign into those sessions. And that's how we've raised the money. And it's just been incredible because we've done everything from art to cooking. And that's kind of where like a lot of my cooking started because I'm someone who doesn't cook normally, but because I'm like, oh, this is my baby and it's rude to not to be part of the session and not take part. So I'm like, I'm gonna try. And then I've just been cooking every evening, which has become crazy. But I feel like that has kind of also kept me motivated because it's trying a lot of new things that I wouldn't normally try. And the fact that we were able to do this, because it's literally like 4 of us that have been working on Quarancharity and we managed to do this, which I was like, oh my God, if just 4 of us came together and we've done this, I mean, if more people come together, we could definitely help everybody that needs the help right now. And I think that's the really important part. So that keeps me kind of motivated and going.
That's really, really cool. By the way, where are you doing Quarancharity? On what platform is this
So we
happening?
have so Quarancharity has its own Instagram page called Quarancharity, and I kind of post every day what we have, and then we have a keto fundraising link which we use as swipe ups to the sessions, and then we have like Zoom sessions where we actually have people joining the sessions. We've had like people, 50 people, 70 people join certain sessions. Some are more intimate when it's cooking and stuff like that because you have to interact with the chef and they actually guide you through the whole process. So it's been really interesting because so many people I feel like in lockdown need something to do, and then there's so many people that need the funds right now, and I just feel like it's a win-win for everybody. So everybody who's bored can join the session, and people who need the money right now are getting it. So I think for us that was the main reason to do Quarancharity.
And I think that's a fantastic thing that you're doing. And listen, everybody watching right now, just show her some love, put some hearts in the comments or those clap emojis in the comments because she definitely deserves the applause. It's incredible how much
Thank
money you
you,
guys have
thank
already raised.
you.
But you know what? Let's talk about your channels. I talked about it at the very start of the show. I said you got
Yeah,
3 channels now. So one is, of course, oh, I got to ask you, how many people mispronounce your full name? You
my
made
name.
Sherry,
Oh,
which is
no,
much
so
easier
it's
for people to say.
So the thing is, as a kid, I didn't like Scherezade because I just felt like, oh my God, nobody can say it right, and none of my teachers also said it right. Like, the annual day function when we used to get our awards and we had to read out the sort of it. I became Scherezade Shroff and Scherezade, and I was just like, God, guys, how can you not know my name? I was in your class the whole year, and then my teachers would call me Sherry as well. So they just look at the sheet and be like, what is this? So it was so crazy that as a kid, I kind of hated it. And then as an adult, I really liked it because I was like, what's a unique name? It's different. And I love my name. And then that's why even when I started my channel, I used my full name instead of just using Sherry Shaw. And the amount of times, even now, people call me and they're like, oh, are you Scherezade Shroff? Are you Scherezade Shroff? Are you Scherezade Shroff? Scherezade Shroff? I'm like, guys, it's just Scherezade. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard. But you,
Yeah, it's
no,
like
that's
it's
that the
been a
spelling
challenge.
is a difficult one. It's not
Yeah,
an easy
yeah,
spelling for most people to
yeah.
get.
There's an
Like,
extra C and an extra E.
so yeah, but no, I mean, I saw that your channel had had the full name. So I was just
Yeah,
wondering how often does that get mispronounced, and I got my answer. But okay, so that's your first
every
channel
day on a daily basis. I mean, it's like
on a
someone
daily
calls
basis.
me and they're like, a lot of the times people just pause. They're like, hello, are you? And I'm like, yes, it's Sherazad. And then they go,
Oh man, that's
so
brilliant. So yeah, you gotten used to it. But tell me about the other 2 channels. One is called Coupling, and the other is called Got to Do India, right?
yes, yes. So Gotta Do India was started after Scherezade Shroff with a good friend of mine, Adi Pocha. So Adi and me, Adi is actually a director and he has a production company called Squirker Productions. And
I know him.
it,
Yeah.
it was amazing because we actually did a job together where we were sent to New York with the brand, and he was filming me and like filming videos of me in New York. And we kind of filmed hair tutorials across New York, but it ended up looking a lot like a travel video. And Adi and me really bonded on that trip, and we always said, we had such a great rapport working together that we would do something together again. And one day when we met, he said, "Listen, I've always wanted to do a travel show." And I was like, "Oh my God, I've always wanted to do a travel show." And he was like, "Why don't we just do it on YouTube? Now we don't really need TV, like we could join forces and do Gotta Do India." And like, I mean, of course, at that point we didn't have a name and stuff, and we sat, brainstormed. We kind of got like a lot into what we want to do. And we felt like there's a lot in India to see that people don't really get to see, or nobody really does it in depth with places in terms of, like where to shop, where to eat. Like, so we kind of developed a format over time, and we started Gotta Do India, and it's incredible. I think we've done over like 20 places already. We did take a bit of a break because I had TB last year, and then one of the people who films with me had to get operated as well. So this has been one after another, and then now we have Corona. So I don't know when we'll start again. But yeah, that was a project that it's purely a passion project. We've never done a brand deal on Gotta Do India. It's all like, Adi's money that he's put into the show. And we just wanted to do it as a passion project, to do it like to show people how amazing. And it's crazy how it took off because I had so many foreigners. Like whenever I travel internationally, invariably at like an airport, I had like people coming up to me who are not my normal TG, because my normal TG is like young girls. And I'd have the like middle-aged people come up to me and they'd be like, "Are you on YouTube?" And I always used to think, I was like, why would these people watch my videos? And then they'd be like, "We saw your travel video." And I was like, "Oh my God, yes." And So like we realized so many people are watching it across the globe when they travel to India, which was amazing for us. So we started Gotta Do India, and then coupling was something. So Weber, my husband, who was then my boyfriend, used to feature in some of my videos here and there. And we had a lot of requests to do more videos together. And he is not someone who's camera shy. He used to model as well. He's an actor. So we were like, why don't we do this as a separate entity instead of just making it some videos on my channel? Let's make it like a separate identity. And then we started coupling, and we did a whole bunch of travel vlogs, challenges, a lot of mixed content. So that's how coupling happened. And yeah, so that's those are the three as of now.
Vicky, you just got your answer right now. She stopped posting Got to Do India because of her health, and now, of course, the
Yeah,
coronavirus. But you guys can look at it as season one. So you just finished watching season one of Got to Do
yeah.
India. Whenever the travel ban and the quarantine and everything ends, hopefully she'll get started off with that again, and you'll get to see season two. I got to ask you, in your travels in the 20 plus places that you've been to, what was one of the favorite places that you went to? Some interesting memory from one of the places that you've not really
Um,
talked about.
So I think we did the East. We did Gangtok and Sikkim, which was just Adi and I. It was the early days of Gotta Do India. No more team members, just me and Adi traveling through. And we did like I think a 10-day trip because we did two schedules back to back, and it was just such a beautiful space in India. Like for me, I'm someone who's traveled fairly a lot, even within the country, but I had never been to the East. So it was a total new experience for me. And I think it's such an underrated space that we have in our own country, which most people haven't seen. And I feel like more and more people should visit because it's so beautiful. And you just like, you can't imagine that you're when you're there you're just like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. I can't imagine so many people are not choosing this over like going to Bali or wherever, because this is just so beautiful. And so I feel like it's very underrated, and I wish more people would do that. Like post the corona ban, I hope like more people try and explore the East because it's beautiful.
It truly is. It really, really is beautiful. In fact, a few days ago, I had Shantanu Moitra, the music director, on my show, and he did a thing called 100 Days of Himalayas. So he went from the northern part of India, from Kashmir side, all the way up to Arunachal Pradesh,
Wow,
over 100 days
that's
with a
amazing.
extremely experienced photographer who does wildlife and nature
Right,
photography.
right.
He documented their entire journey, and man, the stories that he has, not just from the Arunachal Pradesh and what do you call it, Himachal Pradesh and Nepal and Bhutan, but even Gangtok in Sikkim and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
part of India. It was fascinating. It was beautiful to watch. But I'm going to go and check out your videos from Gangtok and
Please
Sikkim
do.
as well, because
No,
it
it was
really
just
is
I
a
feel like
beautiful part.
it's also so different, right? Like the food, the culture, the people, everything is so different. And that's the best part about India. I always say that, when you go north, south, east, west, everything is so diverse that you feel like you're in a different country whenever you visit a different state. And there's just so much that you can see and learn. It's just that I feel like somehow the east is probably the least explored because like the north south is obviously like the most common, and then you of course have the west, which like a lot of us live in, so it's easier to travel around the west. But I just felt like, but for me it was a real eye opener, and I was like, oh my god, I definitely want to go back on like a holiday where I'm not working and I'm just like taking it all in.
That's awesome. Hey, I got to ask you, did you ever watch the British comedy show Coupling?
Yes, I did.
I when I saw that show, I thought it was the funniest show in the world. So
It was hilarious.
when I heard about your the channel name, the first thing in my head was, oh my god, those first three seasons, especially out of the four, were hilarious. So it's a little recommendation from me for everybody watching in.
It is
Definitely
hilarious.
subscribe to Coupling by Sherry and her husband.
Weber.
Uh, Vaibhav, but also go if you I don't know if it's on any of the streaming
I
platforms,
think
but
it's
wherever
on
you can get
YouTube.
it,
I think it's on YouTube. Like they have older episodes on YouTube.
they've got older episodes on YouTube. She's probably seen. Go and check them out. You're gonna laugh your asses off. It is hilarious. Or it's like Friends, but a lot more funny.
Yeah. And I think it
Yeah,
was way before Friends. So I think like it's probably where like most of these shows were conceptualized from. the same kind of comedy, and it's kind of like you like that relatable feeling that you have to these people, and you feel like you all have those kind of people in your life.
That is true. That is true. Okay, so firstly, like I said, congratulations on all three of your channels,
Thank
and I
you.
hope that they keep growing in a much bigger way. But I'm also very very happy to see with what you've been doing with Quarancharity, and I'd recommend everybody. By the way, this video, of course, stays on Instagram for just about 24 hours. But we put it up on the YouTube channel of the MJ Show. So in case you came in late, you missed out a
Yep.
part of Shani's story, go and watch it on the YouTube channel and share this with everybody. And the next time she's got a charity event happening, go spend some money, let that money go to a
Thank
good
you.
cause and learn something interesting from her fantastic guests who come in. Anything I can do to help, please let me know. I'm more than happy to
Thank you
help
so
you.
much.
No,
No,
I
I think
mean,
you've
I
done more.
really mean that.
I feel like at this point we just need to spread the word, and I feel like a lot more people, especially now that lockdown has been extended, I feel like a lot more people are going to need things to keep busy and also to
Correct.
stay positive. And I feel like sometimes it's also nice to try something new when you're in a tough spot in life. At least that's what I've
Correct.
realized, that when you feel like you're upset or you feel like you're cooped up in a house and you don't know what to do, when you do something a little outside your comfort zone, you kind of forget all that because you're so engrossed in actually, trying to do the task of whatever it is, whether it's cooking or whether it's, gardening or whatever it is, that it kind of keeps you busy and you forget all about the fact that you're in lockdown and you're at home because you're doing something totally new, and it kind of takes your mind off it. So I would recommend it to anyone who's in that space, and also to everyone else who can, even if you don't want to do a session, just donate to any causes that you can, because I feel like there's so many people right now that need the help, and we should all do our bit.
Oh, absolutely. So, you know what? Before we wrap up for today, I got to ask you now. You share your life and the things that you're passionate about through your vlogs, through your YouTube channels. Let's talk
Right.
about something that you don't talk about on your YouTube channel. Let's find out a little bit more about you, which you probably not showcased on your channels. So, what do you do, or maybe what do you do as a kid that kept you really occupied? Is there something that I know you
So I
talked about
was,
your favorite books and your TV shows and
yeah.
and the music that you listen to, but tell me something
So
that you do with.
I was very sporty as a kid. I played about 9 sports. That was my life. Like I'd wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I'd do like a sports training in the morning. I'd finish school and then do another session of some other sport. The same was with college till I started modeling when I was about 16. Sports was really my whole like existence. I loved like doing different sports, and I was very into it. And I was a major tomboy. I wasn't really into beauty or fashion. And like today, when I see these 9-year-old kids that come to meet and greets and they're so well turned out, I'm like, I always tell the moms, I'm like, oh God, I at 9, I was in a t-shirt and jeans, and I didn't even like know what makeup was or fashion was. It was just such a it was a different time, I guess. But so yeah, I think for me it was a much simpler time, and I just feel like as growing up, that's something that was a big part of who I was, and it still is, because I think now I started running half marathons, which is something because I was kind of craving that sport in my life and not having any of it anymore as an adult, which is something sad that I think we do as Indians. Unfortunately, I feel like when we don't have a structure, we stop playing sports. Like I used to play a lot of basketball, football, all of that, and now I mean because I don't know where or how, I'm just like, oh, forget it, like it doesn't make sense. Which I feel like is so good for you. I mean, if you actually stick to it, it helps you with discipline, it helps you burn calories, it helps you deal with your stress, and I feel like as I've grown in this space, I encourage more and more people to kind of do that, like either, get into running or get into some kind of sport that interests you, because that really will change your life. And the other thing I don't really share a lot on my channel is, I think, my struggles or like the bad days. Of course, yeah, I have shared like my TV journey or things like that, or been realistic with people saying I don't really feel like doing content right now. I'm taking a 1 week break or whatever. But I just feel like I haven't really gone deeper. Like you don't there are no like crying videos of me or any of those kind of things. Because I just feel like there's enough out there already, and I just feel like my job is to kind of make you a little happier, keep you positive, And I always tell people that it's not true, because they see me always so happy and they're like, oh my God, you're like the happiest person ever. You must never be sad or angry. And I'm just like, ask my husband and my family. They will tell you how angry I can be, how upset I can be at times. So I feel like that's the one sad thing I feel about social media, where people just think it's very sugar coated, and I try to break that myth with telling people that it's not a lot, because I'm like, nobody wants to share like the terrible details of their life. Most people will only share the good. So you
Yeah.
kind of have to take it with a pinch of salt and
Yeah.
realize that this is not like the reality of like life all the time, and everything is not goals, and there's not everyone struggles, no matter how perfect their life seems to you on social media.
Yeah.
Every person is struggling behind their screen. um,
Yeah.
so yeah, those are things that I feel like I've tried to talk about as much as possible, to kind of get more and more people to like be aware of these things, because I feel like it's so easy to get sucked into this social media and then just be like, oh, everybody's life is perfect, my life is terrible, and I don't have all these fancy clothes, or I don't have a boyfriend, or I don't have a husband, and things like that, which makes it all like crazy for people watching. But everybody is struggling in their lives at some level. So that's something I would always say to people, that you can't say that enough. I feel like, because people see all fun content from everyone, and we're all putting our lives out there, but that's a very small portion of our lives. You're not really seeing everything.
I think that's fantastic, and it's a beautiful, powerful message to give everybody, because a few days ago I had a another guest, a young lady from London called
Mhm.
Avina Shah. She's a singer, and she's made a very typical Punjabi like flashy video. If you look at
Right.
it, it's like those typical, there's a Lamborghini and fancy
Yeah.
women dressed beautifully. But the whole message behind that was that it shows you how fake social media can be, because
Right.
it's called Husinidi Rani, and she's talking about, listen, this is how the photo looks, because when I'm looking at
Yeah.
the camera, I've positioned everything to look really great,
Right.
but I'm actually standing on someone else's Lamborghini. That's not my car. Or if I'm dressing up fancy,
Yeah.
I could dress up fancy from up here. I could just be wearing shorts under that. So I
That's
love
true.
the
Yeah.
fact that more and more content creators are taking that responsibility of letting their younger fans know that there is a real life beyond the social media life, beyond the Instagram life that you get to see as well. So I'm really
Yeah, I feel
happy.
like I feel like that has to come through, because I just feel like for this current generation, it's unfortunate, but they haven't seen a life without social media. I mean, we have
Yeah,
seen that, so we know the difference between the real and that aspect. But I feel like people who are growing up right now, it's just so sad, because they are in that space of like only knowing, like they value themselves based on the number of likes they get on social media or things like that, which
true.
you have to kind of break away from, or it's gonna kind of mess with your mind 24/7, where you're like, oh, I posted this, why am I not getting likes? Or, oh, today was a good day. Like very often it took me, like initially I used to think of work, like when you post stuff and I'm just like, oh, this post didn't do really well, only like these many likes. Oh, this did really well, and you think of it like that, and I'm just like, why does it matter? It's not like something that's going to change anything. It's just a picture on a platform, so just like put it out there and forget about it.
That's really, really cool. By the way, speaking of social media, like the queen of Indian social media was just here and she said hi to both of us. I'm talking about my dear friend Malini Agarwal.
Malini,
Hi,
yes, I
Malini.
saw.
You're still around.
Hi.
Hi from me and from Sherry. And listen, I see a lot of your fans writing in. All of you are really wonderful. I got to say, you got the sweetest fans. I had two people. Somebody complimenting my cap and my beard. This is like the first time I'm getting compliments on the way I look.
Really?
'Cause I just put on a t-shirt and I sit over here and chat with my guests. But
But
you guys are sweet, man. You guys, the
it's
Shroffers.
because we're all raw and real, and we accept the reality of things. So I think that's it. Like I feel like for me, like today when I started out, I used to actually wear makeup and do videos or iron my hair, and now I'm just like, no, this is me, guys. Sorry, it's just too much of an effort. And people are like, oh my God, like you're so real, and I'm like, no, it's just laziness sometimes, where I've just grown to accept who I am, and I've just become lazy. But Um, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's another angle, right? We see only made up pictures of people with makeup or in fancy clothes. And then I feel like so many kids just struggle with that because they're like, how do I start blogging? I don't have any makeup or I don't have like fancy clothes. And I'm like, you don't need any of that or you don't need a camera. You can just start with your phone and just be yourself.
Absolutely. But you know what? Listen, I had such a great time chatting with you
Thank
today.
you. Me too.
For everybody watching in, Zoya, Cosmetic underscore Po, there is Karishma, there is Akshita, Smita, Tension. What? Wait, Tension. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong. It's probably Tensionam Dolma. I called it Tension. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm such an idiot. And Nimisha and everybody else. I know I can't get everybody's names in, but thank
Thank
you
you,
all of you for
everyone.
joining in. I gotta tell you again, everybody go subscribe to Scherezade Shroff, Coupling, and Gotta Do India,
Gotta do it.
3 channels. When this video goes up on the MJ Show YouTube channel, I'll give you links to all 3 of her channels.
Thank
So if
you
you're not
so
already
much.
subscribed to it, make sure you do. And follow her on Instagram as well.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing. And you're doing an amazing job chatting with different people and bringing out their stories every day.
Thank you so much, Harry. I will see you soon. Hopefully, once the
See you soon.
lockdown ends, we'll meet up in person again. We briefly met up at, what was that, Lakme Fashion Week.
Fashion Week,
First
Fashion Week.
time in my life I went to Lakme Fashion Week and I bumped into you in
See,
Sejal. But
there's a positive to everything.
absolutely. But take care of yourself. Keep
Thank
doing
you, you too.
Quarancharity. And just let me know if there's anything you want me to put up. Whenever you put up a next picture, let me know. I'll share it in
I'll
my
share it
story.
with you. Thank
I'll
you
give you
so
swipe
much.
up link for people as well. Yeah. Take care of
Thanks a
yourself.
lot. Thank you. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
So
everyone.
that
Thank you.
so that was the time. That was all the time that I have for Sherry today. But at 9 p.m., I'm going to be back with Ananya Birla. You do not want to miss that. And I have a fantastic comedian, illusionist, whose name is Karan Chauhan, who's going to be joining me as well at 9 p.m. So in about 18 minutes from now, I'll be right here back again with the MJ show. Before now, I'm going to go get some water to drink, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye.